Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date is November 6th. It's 12:34 p.m. And I just had a can of soup. I don't know if it's something in there that's making my nose run. Anyway, the last day or two I've had nothing but problems. I don't know. Maybe it's my old age catching up with me. My computer here, that's the Chrome box. I made the last few videos using it because of problems with my other computers with the audio. And but my Chrome box, it's been giving notices, I think, for quite a while that, I need to make more storage area available. And I have a 2 gigabyte, SD drive, plugged in, a pluggable one. And it hasn't helped out much. It hadn't helped out at all. So just when I need this computer here the most, like I made 2 videos like this, and which you're not going to see because I made the videos, and then in the file list it had I didn't do a search for it, but it had a strange suffix to it for the file. It wasn't a MOV or anything like that. It was something else that I think is some type of, I'm not sure if it's strictly a Chrome thing or it's a thing, with programming software or something. I think all that was because it was just like 0 size video, like one of these, and I think that was some type of code that the system knows that, hey, there wasn't enough room to save this, so that tells it that it's either lost or can somehow be reinstated later on or something. I don't know what that was. So, and then just before that, knowing for a long time that this computer had very little hard disk space left, yesterday or the day before, I added some stuff to the Linux division. So anyway, I did a power wash. That's a thing with Chrome that you can, just wipe everything out and start over again. And that worked, excellent for me. And so I'm now making, hopefully it's working, hopefully you're going to see this video. Now, over here on the other computer, I started working with it to fix the noise, the loud hissing and staticky sound on all the audio that I tried to save. And so I went into it and I hooked up different components. I hooked up different monitors, did different things, tried different things. Did I say I had tried different things? And I don't know if, like, I brought this Samsung tablet over, but I don't use it very much. but I brought it over and was going to use it over here, and I'm not sure if, I had the power cable for this, of course. I also someplace had the cable which adds, was it the extra, okay, I forget now which. Anyway, I'm wondering if somehow I needed a, which I think came with this, I believe, a cable that goes to a monitor, and then the other end, of course, goes into here, and then you can use, which I did in the past. About every time I used this, I didn't use it as a tab that I was using it that way. Then I noticed the thing was really loose in there, and some other weird stuff. And now I'm wondering, I wonder if I might have plugged in the wrong cable and shorted something out, or I'm not sure what kind of problem I got. So right now this is what I'm going to depend on here for a little bit, and then later today, of course, I had to open up here. Let's see if you can. Okay. Oops, don't want to knock over. Let's see. Oops. Can you see the bed? And I have the plastic boxes on there. I have like 4 or 5 of those things that are filled with stuff. And stuff is, those are filled with everything. Lots of stuff that I didn't even know that I had. A lot of stuff that I could use. Now there's a bunch of stuff there that I really ought to just, throw away. It's good, there are good cables and all types of things like that. But I'm just not going, I've moved out of that, arena. I'm not going to be, using stuff like that. I just hate to throw it, hate to throw it away. Because I've thrown a bunch of stuff away, well, given away too. And then it turns out that I need it, and then I have to go out and turn around and buy one, But I think I have to end up buying one anyway, often because I can't find, the items in these giant containers. So, I'm not tired right now, but I'm going to have to get all that stuff off my bed when it comes, comes to my nap time. So, this is being recorded with the Avery Media USB camera, and up here I don't think this is working with this the USB China, from China. Well, everything's probably from China. I don't think it works with this set, if I remember correctly. All day yesterday, because of messing with my stuff, I didn't take my morning or night medicine yesterday, so today's the 6th. I'll start with the morning. should I check the CNN, see what's happened today? But you won't be able to see it. Hopefully I can get that fixed. Oh, when digging through these things, I found a cradle that I could put my cell phone in and use it to make a recording. There's a sort of a clamp type thing too that even mounts on a tripod. That can be used for something like this. So, because a couple of you, said that you really like the audio and video from the cell phone. Oh, this is the Motorola one, by the way, which I'm not using card or a phone, so I'm not using a phone service. I switched over from my Pixel. Let's see. I'm trying to show the camera thing there. Can you see? It doesn't look like you can see it on maybe. I like the stylus. I don't use, and I might consider getting this is a Motorola, the 22 version. It's smaller, and anyway, I might go with it. What year are we in here now? I think it's 22, but I think they have a 23 version, but I don't know. Don't know what I want to do. And prices are going up so much. It's cutting into my getting, new toys. Let's see, the election will be over in 2 days, our little election here. We have every 2 years elections. So, every 4 year, it's a presidential, the election and other, elections. Every 2 years, they skips the 4 year, you pick, no, wouldn't you do that too? We pick the candidates who are going to be in our party, for position of Democrat, for position of president, vice president, all these type of different, governors and senators and all that type of stuff. So they're picked then they run, the party. I think both parties, but especially like the Republican Party, which in my opinion has become more of a terrorist party, I think the parties need to, take some stands, and I think, I think the Republican Party and of course the Democrats, well, they'd have gone along with it for, what they should have done is, made it where, if you're going to be the candidate for the party, you have to disclose, by such and such a date, your tax information. Trump flatly and has still refused, he's then eventually, when he was elected, then he said, well, yeah, he would be releasing, before long. And of course he hasn't even released it now, and he's fighting in court to keep it from being released to one of the many investigating things that are going on against, Trump. And now, of course, with our Constitution the way it is, if a political party if the Republicans had, say, done that, Trump would have gone to, the courts, and Trump's been losing all these court cases. I think it was 80 cases having to do with what? I don't know. With it being an unfair election, and there was cheating going on. He lost every case. He didn't win one case, even on the courts where he had appointed, the judges. So, yeah, I could see where, if the Republican Party and the Democratic Party would have, followed it. They may already have it in there, a requirement in order to get the nomination. But I could see, Trump might actually have won a case because the Constitution of the United States says that you just need to be an American-born citizen and be, I think it's 35 years of age, and I think that's it. And then so he could have gone to court and said, well, hey, the Constitution says, so what right does, this party, and of course, in our founding fathers really weren't in favor of, especially George Washington. They didn't want any political parties. They wanted people to, vote and people to get together and do all this kind of stuff, but they didn't anticipate political parties. And so Trump might have actually won that. And that would have helped him too, because he'd have been, seen as a winner instead of a loser. So anyway, that's a 17-minute video. I haven't even checked actually to see if it's working. I think it will, because this Chrome computer, I power washed it. That sets everything back, takes everything off, and just leaves you the the hardware. And it was very easy to do for me because I have passwords, a protection program, and all that kind of stuff. Everything was loaded in once I got, once I formatted this and started over, then all the stuff was, added back in. I'm sure I'll find some stuff that wasn't. I'm looking at CNN's front page. Trump made a little attack on DeSantis, the governor of Florida, and Trump gives nicknames, sarcastic nicknames for people, and Trump made one up for the governor of Florida, DeSantis, because DeSantis, the governor of Florida, Republican governor of Florida, he wants to be president. And Trump wants, well, I don't think Trump really wants to be president, and but it might come down to, I think Trump will actually be, in prison, but not they're going to, we don't want to be one of these third world countries, and I'm not talking about your country, whichever one you're from. I mean, that's not, but we don't want to be one of those places where, your president or your whatever he is, then is killed or overthrown and stuff like that. We don't want to be one of those countries. So I think there's an awful lot of Americans that, don't want to see us putting handcuffs on a president, ex-president of the United States, and putting him, and actually I'm sure we wouldn't, no matter what he did. He said when he was running for election that he could leave the Trump Tower in New York City and go out on the street and kill somebody, and he could get away with it. I mean, he honestly says things, he just said things that we've never had anybody ever say, and his followers, yeah, they accept it. They just accepted it. It's scary and terrible, and it's that somebody like this could become, president of the United States. And the United States has, a lot of allies around the world, and we are allies with a whole bunch of, different nations. And it's, it's a shame, to, President Trump went to speak before the United Nations, and they were, the representatives of the world were laughing at him during his speech. Yuck. I don't blame them. I mean, but yuck, wow. And then there's just all the stuff that he has done and the stuff that he said, and taking classified documents, not supposed to take any documents from the White House, and taking them and hiding them at his golf resort, and then saying that he didn't have them, and then, court order, the, FBI and others went in there and found them, and then they also found that a whole bunch are missing, and apparently there's reports that he showed, these things to leaders of other nations, apparently including Russia and maybe North Korea. It's just, the entire thing is just unbelievable. Was it Mondale, president, or not? Can't remember. Back when the election, where John F. Kennedy was dead, and around after that time, people were out, campaigning to get the presidential nomination, from the Democratic Party, and I think it was Mondale, might not have been, but anyway, a good man, and he was out, and I forget what it was now, but he started crying, and that was the end of that was the end of him. I mean, for tearing up and for crying about, I'm not sure what he was, I can't remember now what it was. It was something, that if you're sensitive or have feelings or something, well, you probably should cry, but that was the end of him. Who I was not in favor of, really, who was a while back trying to get the Democratic nomination from the party, to be the presidential nominee. And in fact, my daughter was traveling with his campaign, assisting. I mean, not, she wasn't, she was lower echelons or whatever, but, and she happened to be there when this event happened, when I went to Washington, D.C. for a 2 weeks vacation not long ago. I stayed there, and her and her husband, took me out for 2 weeks seeing the sights in Washington, D.C. But anyway, I happened to mention to her, what was his name? Oh, what doesn't matter. Anyway, I wasn't in favor of him. I can't remember my big complaints, but I didn't want him as a nominee. But no matter who he was, what the election was, I mean, I would have picked him over the Republican candidate. I think it might have been Bush Jr., not the dad, the junior. I think it was that election. And yeah, I mean, now our worst presidents before Trump, they don't seem bad at all. Even the Republicans. I mean, Trump is just so unbelievable, and it's shameful or whatever. Oh, anyway, let's see. Oh, 25 minutes, that's plenty long. I thank you very much for watching. Please do thumbs up. Please do what you can to help the site. Thank you very much.